Okay, part two. So we have one longer screw and then one other screw that's going to be the same as the rest of them. Just going to go ahead and continue taking out all 6 of these. You go 1, 2, 3 right there, and then the other 3 are just straight across from there. So since they're all the same, you can just put these in a pile. Alright, and then the camera, you just have a screw and a little bracket. The bracket usually comes out with the screw, but if it doesn't, just dump it out. So it usually comes out like that. Well, anyway, just set those aside because that's a different size. So you got that one, you got 6 screws, and then you got your one longer one, and then of course your 2 that are from the bottom that hold the screen in. So at this point you're ready to take out the motherboard. Just lift the camera up out of its little spot there, sitting up like that. Take your be your guitar pick, I guess, and we're going from the bottom. Now the only major thing you have to look for is this brass, this little brass thing that touches the side of the screen, or side of the chrome bezel there. So just lift this back a little bit and then lift straight up. If sometimes this brass thing is behind the chrome bezel, you got to make sure you get that out, and then sometimes it'll also get caught on the side of the bezel. Make sure it doesn't do that. But anyway, you want to lift this up here, and then we're basically going to go straight up with the bottom of it until we get past those these 2 ribbons here, and then straight back, and it'll come right out. Alright, now we got 3 screws that hold in the charging port. This is the piece we're replacing. This is the antenna. It goes underneath, but you have one larger one here, and then you got 2 smaller ones that are in there. So I'm going to go ahead and take off all of these. Alright, now the charging port just comes out from the front. You want to lift up a little bit so it gets past the battery there. You can see it's stuck on the battery right on the left side. There we go. See how it popped out? And then straight out like that. Sometimes the mesh covers, these pieces come with it. If those do come out, you just want to make sure you get them lined back up before you put the new one in. Just keep dust and stuff out of there. It's not a big deal if they're not there, but it looks a lot better, and like I said, it keeps the dust out. So I'm going to put it all back together, but you would just substitute your charging port, obviously, and then it all goes back in kind of the opposite. You want to keep this at an angle, and then you see this piece right here. This is your speaker. You want to make sure you get that in the hole there. I sometimes put it in a little bit of an angle, and then make sure it gets in there. And then you got these 2 metal pieces on your charging port, these brackets that the screws go through. Sorry, it's not the best lighting. Those go on top of the brackets here. Sometimes they'll want to go underneath. So basically just make sure your speaker's in there, and then lift up as you push in. Lift up only as necessary, just to get those brackets on top, and then push in until you're able to push down. So be pushing in until you're past the battery, and then you'll push down. And then you got the 3 screws that hold that in. And then when you put in your motherboard, you want to lift up this ribbon with your thumb, and then also this one. So it's kind of tricky, but you want to hold them both out of the way. And then you're coming in with the motherboard. It'll be kind of like at an angle. And what you're doing is there's a little clip right here, and you want to get underneath that one right there. Oh, and also, not just to complicate it a little bit more, make sure the camera's up and out of the way. So this is how I like to hold it. Put the front in first, and see I got the back lifted pretty far up, and that's just to make it past those ribbons. Make sure it's underneath that little clip there on the left, and then push straight in until you're able to push down. So then you can see it's all the way in there. Alright, now we'll go ahead and put in all 6 of our screws. Just remember that the one long one, should we go ahead and put that in now? The long one goes underneath the ribbon down here at the bottom. Right down there. Alright, now we're going to do the camera. See how it's sticking up just a little bit? It fits right in there. So just push in and down, and you'll get that. And then you want to put this bracket in here. You'll see there's a bend to it. I'll see if I can get it to focus for you. The piece with the hole in it will be lower. That's how you want it. That should make sense if you can see it on yours. Actually, there we go. So you see how it kind of bends down? You want to make sure that where your screw goes through is lower. You don't want to have it flipped. So we'll put that in there. You can see that the foam has a little space for it. And then just hold it with your thumb and put the screw in there. So we end up like that. Alright, now we got all of our ribbons. These are pretty straightforward, these ones. Just kind of push it down, and you'll feel it kind of line up, and then push down, you'll feel it clip. Same with this one up here. Feel it clip. Now these two are round. It's going to be really hard. I'll have to zoom in a little bit. But basically what I like to do is get one side of it on. Hopefully this will focus for you. Might not be able to. Here we go. Might be as good as we're going to get. I like to get one side of it on and then push the whole thing on. So that's actually on. It's really difficult to see. I'll let you see it before I cover it up, and plus you'll see it on yours anyway. There's the round thing, and then obviously that's just going to line up with it. So I'm going to get it just on the closest side and then work it on there. So now that's on. Now we're ready to put the screen back on. It's just the reverse order of how we took it off. Start with the number 3. I like to just bend it down so it's separate from the other two, and then just work it in from the back. Oh, you can see how you have a shinier part and a dull part. The shiny part almost all gets put in there. You can see, you can just barely see some shiny part above where it needs to go in. So keep pushing until you got all of the shiny part hidden, and then just put that tab down. So how it's still facing up. Put this tab down, and then make sure you clip it on. The bracket goes just above that piece right there. You'll see. That's how you know it's lined up. See that silver part, and then it's just above that. This last one is going to be a little bit more difficult because you can't actually see it. I like to line it up as best I can, push the screen down a little bit and then push it down, and you'll hear it clip in. And then to get the screen in, it's pretty straightforward. You just have to put the top in first. You'll see there's 3 little notches here, and there's corresponding notches in the chrome bezel. So you see I got the back lifted up a little bit. You want to make sure you push up and get those notches in there, and then work your way down, and see how it's sticking up a little bit right there. Push forward and down, and it should clip right in. It's my missing screw. I didn't want to hold the video up for losing that screw, but here we go. There, see it clips right in, and then just put your bottom 2 screws in there. Alright, if you have any questions, just shoot me an email. Thanks.